Hey guys, this is Mike Inez from Alice in Chains.
Hello,
I don't know.
Nammers.
So my name's Ken Susi. I am the product manager here at Fishman. I'm also the guitar player of the band On Earth. Mike and I have been friends for many, many years, even before I was an artist relations guy. And just so happens, throughout the years, we've been building our artist roster. We got a lot of great guys playing our pickups. We have Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones. You guys might have seen Devin Townsend play. Animals as Leaders, Killswitch Engage, Lamb of God, Greg Koch. So many artists that have been like kind of joining the Fishman Fluence team. And it's been absolutely a wild ride for the past 5 years. We've kind of taken the pickup market by storm. We put out bass pickups last year, and we were super lucky to meet up with an artist like Mike. Mike's had such a great career, and I think how long was it? It was like 2 years ago. You and I were like just hanging out, and he was like, "I have this amazing bass, and I literally am scared to take it on the road. It's been my bass for 30 years. It's been this iconic piece. I'll let him talk about it, but since then, like we are now getting past the signature series thing. Artists that go in and they dial their pickups in and they say like, this is what I want. This is what I want." Mike's had a proven career. He's written so many he's been played on so many great records. His bass has been on so many great records, and now we're moving forward with these new pickups. This is the launch of the Mike Inez Legacy Series, and what this is, it's his exact bass pickup that you can buy. It's legitimately, it's like the quintessential Mike Inez tone that's been on every single record, and now you can buy it. So Mike, tell us about the bass that you had, the history behind it, the Moonburst.
Yeah, the famous Moonburst. So, 1990, I'm playing an Ozzy Osbourne band. I highly recommend that for young musicians. Join the Ozzy Osbourne band, and it's a college education, freaky college education. So Ozzy bought me this bass, and it's a German-made bass. We were cruising around in Europe, and so I really liked the Warwick stuff. So Ozzy bought me some, so I had backups. But there was this one special one. I call it a moonburst. It's like a sunburst, but with the silver into like black kind of. We called it a moonburst, anyways. So this bass has been my workhorse for 30 years. We've done, I've jammed with everybody. To put this in a weird perspective, from Kerry King from Slayer to Kerry fucking Underwood, right? And everybody in between. No lie, swear to God. It's been on Slash Records, Ozzy Records, Alice in Chains Records. I use it on session work a lot. It's just been my workhorse for 30 years. It's on its fourth headstock. It's been smashed to shit. Sorry about my language. I just can't help myself, so it's just the way I talk.
This is rated PG-13, okay. So kids, get out of here.
All right, my brother, Fuentes. So it's been smashed up. So the original EMG pickups were in it, and me and Zach Wilde back in the 90s would do stuff like pour beer on our heads, and we had these stages where I would run behind the drummer, and Zach would be running in front of the stage, and I would spit loogies in the air, and Zach would catch him in his mouth going the other way from that. So that shows our behavior in the early 90s, right? And Ozzy loved it, right? He just loved our energy. But so we'd pour beer on our heads, and one time I think we were in Germany, and it zipped out, my Moonburst bass, which sounded killer at the time. It just zipped out. So my tech goes to a store, buys another set, puts it inside of the Moonburst, and the thing sounded incredible. Sounded better than any of my other 40 Warwicks. So for 30 years, I've been trying to get this tone, it's the only bass I carry around every gig I go to. We just got off a 32 country tour, Alice in Chains. So we did, I think the count was 139 gigs, 125 cities, 32 countries. So this is the one bass I carry around on planes. Everywhere I go, I make sure I have my number one bass. My biggest fear was I was going to plug into this bass one day, and just like basses do and guitars do, just it doesn't sound the same. Or I go to do a record and we plug it in, and it just doesn't have that special magic to it.
Or the airport hits your bass or your guitar with a forklift, right?
Oh yeah, or my wife breaks it over my head. One of the two. But so then Ken, he said, "Hey, I think we're going into uncharted territory here. We're walking literally our footprints are the first footprints on the moon here. It's really cool." So I was playing a gig in Boston, and Kenny comes by, picks me up at soundcheck, and we grab this bass and we go to the Fishman factory in Boston. And I thought I was going to be sitting there playing all day. And the first thing he did is took the strings off it, and they put it in this like kind of MRI machine, is the way I describe it. And it was really weird. We put it through, and it shows a digital, like the throw of the magnets off of this bass. And so that's the hard reality of that bass. This is the hard reality of this is what your bass is. This is what it's doing. This is how it's interacting with the universe. So so I did the gig. Another 5-6 months go by. Yeah. He meets me and our engineer from the last 3 Alice in Chains records, Paul Figueroa. We go into his home studio, and with the famous Frank Felbo.
He's right there, hiding.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Frank? Oh, the man. The ladies' man.
Everybody cackle at him.
And we grinded and we grinded and we grinded and grinded until we got it. It's like, okay, the low's there, okay, and okay, now we'll go to the mids. No, that's not happening. So we're adjusting, and Frank developed a system where we have slide-in pickups on this old P bass going in the back. So, and it's hooked up to a computer. So we're trying to match that throw of the magnets. It's just so futuristic and cool, but. We come to find out that those pickups that were put in that the bass, they were fake EMGs from Germany. There was a guy between like 91 and like 95. He passed away now. That was doing these off-brand, but he was putting the logo on them. So I've been chasing this tone for 30 years, and with every pickup company really, and. Ken was the first guy to come up to me saying, "We're going to go from the other way. What does it sound? Okay, here's what it's doing. What does it sound like? Let's chip it out. Let's dig it out."
Yeah.
So, use a hockey term, we got in the corner and we scrummed it out.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited. I mean, like I got the prototype about maybe 5 or 6. Frank did the woodwork and painted me up this bass. Which is, I'm going to leave here all weekend. If you guys want to play it, you're more than welcome. Put your energy into it. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But where was I? I'm strained. Yeah.
No, we were just about the. We're at the point.
Frank gave me this bass, and so I immediately took it on the road. And so we're doing big shows with Alice in Chains. A lot of arenas. We got like Bruce Springsteen's sound guy, and the monitor guy is like Rush's old guy. And so it's highly professional sound crew. We got Clara Brothers. So we took it to sound check, plugged it in, and the thing was a fucking beast. It was just so, it came out just screaming like an animal. Yeah. I plugged it into a couple Ampeg SVT2 Pros from the 90s and a couple 810 cabinets. And so we immediately threw it in this tour. So it's been, this bass already has been in about 20 or 22 countries, I reckon. Yeah. Did South America, did Europe, did Eastern Europe, Canada, the States. I have 3 prototypes I took, one white, one sparkly blue one, and then and this one. But so I can't express how, like, in the 27 years I've been playing Man in the Box, Rooster, any of these songs, I have not played it without my Moonburst bass. Yeah. So right when I got this, and we're switching it up, we're doing drop D tunes with it, and like, so for me to just play Man in the Box or Rooster with this thing is a huge statement from us and our sound crew, and our sound guys love it. Yeah. It's so even, so when I'm doing these bass switches, they're not having to do a lot of tweaks out front, and like
well, that's the other thing. Yeah. When you have like 3 or 4 basses, I mean, before you have to travel with a lot of basses. You have A/B rigs like all over the world.
Yeah. I have 3 sets of 10 vaults, 3 vaults of 10 basses each that go all over the planet, right?
Yeah. So when I say we're manufacturing these pickups to be exactly to his spec, like what you buy off the shelf is what he has in his bass, and there's no real like difference between. I mean, you've probably noticed that like when you move from one bass to another, it's the same pickup.
It is, but each in the different woods. And I love this about it. It lives in different basses in kind of cool ways, So This one especially, I used it for drop D stuff like Damn That River or We Die Young, stuff like that, Down in a Hole. And then there's two voicings on these things. So the first voice is when we're down, and
Actually, grab your bass. Let's
okay.
do a little bit of this. Yeah.
Really,
Do you guys want to hear Mike play a little bit? I don't think they want you to play. I don't know. I didn't.
Oh, there we go. We're working on the jacks next.
So what is voice 1?
Just has a nice growl. Whoops. Frank! My bass is fucked. Oh, there we go. So, anyways, that's kind of we got a distortion thing and a Mesa cabinet and head up here, but we're just basically the thing we're trying to get is the presence of this thing. It just has such a strong voice. It just it cuts through every mix. I'm building a new recording studio in my house right now, so I can't wait to get in the studio and really start experimenting with pedals and different heads and like 12 strings, and I got 15-string Warwicks and fretless, and this is where like me and Justin Chancellor are very similar. We just like to get in studios and freak out, and and we're tone heads, and that's why Ken's the same way, and we approach this pickup tonally, it's like, okay, what does the thing sound like? Let's go from the other side back, So it was really the way it came about, and the way Frank does approach this whole thing. I've never seen anything like it. I guarantee you this is the best bass pickup in this building. Yeah, me and Ken will fight any fucker who says it's not. Once again, sorry about my language.
So what are the controls on the bass? Like you have voice 1, voice 2. Let's do voice 1.
So this is just a master volume, just straight up and down. So voice 1 is pushed in. There's 2 voices to this pickup, this particular one. There's 4 knobs on here, but that's because we took one of my old basses, and there was 4 knobs on the original pickup. So this one doesn't do anything. And I'm thinking of having Warwick make them where that's a dimmer switch for my, because I'm blind now, and it has lights on the top of my newer basses. So I think I'm gonna put a dimmer switch there, so on those dark arena stages, I can see what's going on. But then it's real simple. There's a treble and a bass. It's we tried to make it as easy as possible. So on this one, like here, I'll play wood. See the chords, everything is just nice and even. The sustain on them too, it's just great. This thing will just keep going and going and going and going. It's just great. Has all the overtones that my Moonburst does. So stuff like, I'd probably put some of that distortion back in real life. But it's just really like even, and here, let me. So we got, close enough. All right.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing I love about my band. It's just we're real ropey, and everything's slidey and slippery and kind of dissonant harmonies, and we're just kind of freaks that. I think our big secret with Alice in Chains is, like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. It just kind of sounds cool, so that's what we go with. I think there's a life lesson in there for you kids, Don't get too distracted by all this bullshit. You're just in the room to make a bunch of fucking racket. That's it. Just make a bunch of noise. We're all in this together. Just make a bunch of noise. I want to hear your noise next, It's like So anyway, we could get these things out to people. Our sound is so consistent with Alice in Chains now. Our front of house guy Troy loves them. It's real important for us to, with our in-ears, to hear what's going on, especially with singers. Say, I'm doing Heart shows with Anna Nancy Wilson, and tunes off the bass. So she's a bass player herself, but she always wants the bass super loud. So I got to make sure it's my job to get her a good tone that she can sing off of, Because if she can't hear it, or if it's crappy, then it affects Ann Wilson's performance. So, Ozzy is a bass freak. Ozzy's turn up, get Mike two more stacks on stage. I love playing with him. I'm like, oh, excellent. Okay, hey, cool. And so it's such an important part of my job is to get everyone else a cool tone. See, so now in the in-ears with these, it's just so nice and even. And some people want distortion, some people don't want distortion. Some,
so what about like down tuning too as well?
Well, I was just gonna say Jerry loves like to hear like the slides and the bends, or you got to hear those slidey stuff. And the chordal stuff. Yeah. This amp's blowing up a little bit, but you gotta. We just wanted every nuance of the to translate through, for the in-ears. So I'm probably the only musician that thinks this, but it's important that the front of house guy gets all of that shit too. It's more important to me what the audience actually hears and what the musicians I'm playing with. I kind of am third on that list. I really, I'll take the hit every time. I'll sacrifice my monitors and my in-ears to make a singer more comfortable. I mean, if it was up to me, when I was in the Ozzy band, he's the one guy that goes like this. He says, get as much bass shit as you want. And I said, okay, so I had 6 18s, 12 15s, and 24 10s going at one time, plus side fills, flown side fills, and wedge, wedge nest everywhere on the stage. It was just craziness, So it shakes your bones where it's hard to play. So like Jerry and the guys, they don't like that thing. Soundgarden was kind of the same way. It's just too much for the singers, and kind of in between, But so certain acts they like that, other guys don't. So you got to be versatile, and I just wanted a clean tone going to everybody. That was my main concern, and to capture, because one of these days that Moonburst something's gonna happen to it. I'm gonna retire it now, so I'll just use it on records. But this last Rainier Fog tour will be probably the last time I use that bass. Now that we got these happening, So
what's so now you have voice one, but now we gave you another voicing.
Oh yeah. Let me
and at the time, and at the time you were saying, I don't know what I want. But then you start looking into your catalog and you're saying, we play a lot of scaled back stuff. Whether I'm playing with Heart, whether I'm playing with Alice in Chains, the acoustic stuff. So yeah, you want to take off? We can take off the distortion. So yeah, no. So you play a lot more like laid back kind of stuff. So why don't you show us what you do in voice 2, which is he has a push pull. So when he pulls it out, it becomes voice 2. It's a whole new voicing. It's like installing a new set of pickups the second he hits the switch.
Yeah, and it's really nice for me, and my tech loves it. So, because he's a lazy bastard like myself, so we try to make it easy as possible not to screw everything up. That's our main thing. There's like a lot of people apparently are paying attention to what we're doing. It's not like the old days. So, but like I use a lot of hollow body stuff for songs like, say, No Excuses or Your Decision, anything like Got Me Wrong or Brother, anything off the Jar of Flies record. So when we're not playing...
Play a couple riffs, show us.
Is that 2 round? Yeah, this isn't my amp, so I don't know what's...
What do you want?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good. So... Is that in tune? Let me tune it. It's a little too muffly, huh? Okay. So like, so just like there's our examples are like No Excuses or like Your Decision, Got Me Wrong or Brother. I just want to be able to not do a bass change so much. I really do like the Warwick hollow bodies though. But when I'm in the recording studio and we're doing like mellow stuff, and I only got a few basses, and I'd go do say, I just recently did Mark Morton's solo record from Lamb of God and stuff. So, I can't bring the Alice in Chains rigs down to these studios. So I just gotta, I throw a bunch of stuff in my truck and take it down there. So for me, and which is why we got the 2 different kinds of sets. We got one you could just get the Legacy Series, my pickup, or you can get one with their pickup and my pickup. So now I'm exploring how to get like another pickup in there. Just had more options to give producers and sound guys and you know.
So underneath the hood of this particular soap bar is actually a reverse P.
Yeah,
so,
it's not a P bass, but a reverse P bass, just like the
Yeah.
original Moonburst. So.
And Mike's original Moonburst actually had a J in there, but it was non-functional, or you didn't use it, correct?
Yeah, I think it just didn't work. I don't know. So, like, so now I could go and I could play No Excuses, for instance, right? Right? You know, it's a little bit out of tune. Yeah, somebody's been playing this. You've had it out, right?
Everybody at NAMM.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So yeah, just it gives a lot of versatility. So now I got it's a hot rodded P bass basically on the other thing, you know. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
Well, guys, we've actually been on for about 20 minutes, but guys, thank you so much. This is Mike Inez.
Oh, I certainly appreciate you guys. All right.
Don't forget to buy his Legacy Series pickups in 4 or 5 string, single sets, whatever it is that you guys want. But guys, it's really special for us to have him on our stage, and it's been amazing to have him as an artist. Thank you very much for being
Fishman
with us.
too. For every pickup you buy, Fishman is going to take you and your family to a Hawaiian vacation, or they're going to buy you a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Look under your chairs right now. There's a set of...
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Or
Thank you, guys.
They will do a murder for you. You just send us back the receipt, write the name on the back, and it never fucking happened, right? And we don't know a thing.
Thank you guys very much.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. You guys play with it if you want, you know. So yeah,
We'll put it back in the room. It'll be in the demo room.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, okay. Hey,